Oh shit, they done let me in the door. They done gave your boy a chance, now the youngin' finna blow. It's a shame finna put the game in the figure four. Youngin' fresh from out that bottom, talking straight from off the scroll. And these days, I live the life of a movie star. Remember going to school.
Yo, welcome back to my channel. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, man. You ain't got like, you ain't got a comment, but I do appreciate it if you did sub button if you're new. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Attack on Titan, but in particular, I'm going to be explaining how Eren and Armin's conversation will be different in Attack on Titan anime original ending, and also how that conversation will reveal the truth about the story of Attack on Titan. So, as we all know, Eren and Armin's conversation that took place in Attack on Titan manga chapter 139 developed a lot of controversy. A lot of us feel like that conversation should have been handled a lot differently. Now, personally, I feel like we should have seen two friends who are very confident in what they believe in, and both of them trying to convince each other why their beliefs and what they stand for is the right way. And us being able to see a very confident Eren and Armin going against each other's ideology would have not only added towards Eren's character development, but also allowed the audience and Armin himself to better understand Eren, and also allow Armin to gain some big character development. But because of how and when Isayama chose to reveal Eren and Armin's conversation, which is after Mikasa made the choice to kill Eren, that type of conversation would have felt out of place knowing that Eren did die. Now, if Eren had transferred his consciousness and somehow reactivated the rumbling, then okay. And also, if Eren and Armin's conversation was revealed a little bit more earlier than what it was, then okay. But because of the fact that Isayama chose to reveal Eren and Armin's conversation after Mikasa made the choice to kill Eren, like I said, that type of conversation that I was talking about would have felt out of place. But that does not mean that we could not have had a confident Armin trying to understand Eren, but at the same time trying to convince Eren to not go through with the rumbling for the entire conversation. And also not only prove to Eren, but also prove to the audience that Armin is 100% serious about what he preaches by being able to come up with a plan in that conversation. But because of the fact that Armin trying to convince Eren to not go through with the rumbling was not his main priority until the end of the conversation, and also Armin not being able to come up with a plan at all, kind of makes you look at Armin's character differently. It's almost as if Armin is not 100% serious about what he believes in. And he's one of those type of characters that just likes to talk just to be talking but never have anything to show for it. And in this case, Armin being able to come up with a plan in this conversation would have been the perfect way to show us that Armin is 100% serious about what he believes in. And to be honest, Armin and the rest of the Alliance, besides coming to save their families, have no right to even try to come and stop Eren and also say what Eren is doing is wrong, because of the fact that they do not have a fucking plan. Now, I do understand what Isayama was doing by writing Armin not being able to come up with a plan, which is a way to show us that genocide is the only fucking way, because it is a kill or be killed type of world. Now, I do wish that Isayama would have made what Eren did a little bit more clear so that we don't look at Eren being stopped at 80% as a bad thing. Because to be honest, a 80% rumbling could have fucking worked, and I am planning on doing a video to explain why it could have. Now, if you look at what Eren did what nobody else would fucking do, and that is come up with a second option. I'm pretty sure that Eren knew that if he wanted to achieve freedom, he would have to sacrifice his friends. But because of the type of character that Eren is, he would never do that unless he knew that he had no other choice. Which why it does make sense that certain things would work out in manga Eren's favor, like Mikasa keeping the powers of the Titans alive by planting Eren's head under his tree, which is how Mikasa is able to send Eren back in time, and also Eren, who is now the new founder of the Titan Path, which allows him to be able to see what happens after his death, which is Paradise Island being destroyed once that kid comes in contact with Eren's head. And knowing that anime Eren gains all of manga Eren's memories, he should be able to see that as well, which would then show anime Eren that he has no other choice but to go in a different route than what he did in the manga timeline. And that different route could be Eren indirectly killing his friends in order to achieve freedom. If you think about it, this is very similar to Eren killing his mother. Eren would never do that unless he knew that he had no other choice. And the only way that Eren would know that he has no other choice is if Eren knows what happens if he does not control Dinah to go past Bato, which means that Eren has to have knowledge of a timeline where Dinah did eat Bato, which would then make Eren realize that he has no other choice but to control Dinah to go past Bato, which led to his mother being killed. So anime Eren is in the same situation. Because of him gaining knowledge from the manga timeline, which is most likely how everything ended up being for nothing because what he thought would happen did not happen, which is the powers of the Titans disappearing, and also Armin being able to come up with a plan to end the cycle of hatred with all of the leverage that Eren had gave him. He took away the image that audience had, which was that there were devils who could turn into Titans. He made them look like heroes, which is what the outside world has never viewed them as, and he they also gave them what they could not have for majority of the story, and that is time. Time to be able to come up with a plan, time to be able to understand each other, and also time to just be able to enjoy fucking life for once. But anime Eren being able to see what he did in his previous life was not enough, because Paradise Island got destroyed will make him realize that he has no other choice but to do things differently in order to get a different result. Now, at a certain point in time, I couldn't understand why Isayama made it seem like Mikasa's feelings toward Eren and also Ymir choosing Mikasa was way more important than what Eren was doing. But with me now having knowledge of us possibly getting an anime original ending and understanding why we're getting an anime original ending, and also me having knowledge of what inspired Isayama to create Attack on Titan in the first place, which is Love Love, but more specifically Love Alternative, I can now look at what Isayama did for chapter 139 and the extra pages a lot more differently. I can now understand why Isayama made it seem like Mikasa's feelings toward Eren and also Ymir choosing Mikasa, or just Mikasa's character in general, was way more important than what Eren was doing. And to tell y'all the truth, and some of y'all might not like this, shit, I don't even fucking like it, but Mikasa's feelings toward Eren is way more important than what Eren will ever do. And the reason is because Mikasa's feelings toward Eren, along with Eren's death, is two of the many reasons as to why Eren is being sent back in time. And knowing that Eren's death is inevitable and that the only thing that can be changed is the way how Eren dies in these different timelines, and also knowing that Eren's death is something that Mikasa cannot accept, and if she does, it's already too late because she would have already sent Eren back in time. So it doesn't matter if Eren goes 40%, 50%, 80%, or like how the first timeline showed us. It doesn't matter if Eren runs away, because if and when Eren dies, Mikasa would just end up sending Eren back in time. So let's say that Eren does go 100% but dies in the process, and also dies before Mikasa. Mikasa would just end up sending Eren back in time and make everything be for nothing in that way. Now, of course, in the continuation of that timeline, Paradise Island is free, but Eren himself would not be free. He would have to continue to way back up in a world that has walls. And if a time loop is what is really going on, the whole point is to try to find a way to break out of that sad time loop, which could be done by somebody being able to complete their mission, or somebody being able to come to some type of realization where they're now able to accept the truth and want to make things right. And this could be a little bit of both for the story of Attack on Titan, but it begins with Eren wanting to complete his mission this time, and ends with Mikasa being able to accept the fact that she just cannot be with Eren, and her wanting to be with Eren is what is causing him to be sent back in time. So therefore, Mikasa has to give up on her dream and desire to want to be with Eren, which is what she does by killing him. But Mikasa killing Eren is what causes her to want to be with Eren even more, so she has to do it in a different way. And we all believe that this different way could be Mikasa sacrificing herself to make sure that no matter what happens in this timeline, if and when Eren does die, he will not be sent back in time because Mikasa would not be around to do so. So as we all know, a lot of the things that was said and also done in the ending for Attack on Titan was heavily inspired by Love Alternative. For an example, and also for the sake of this video, Eren and Armin's conversation, which was heavily inspired by the last conversation that takes place at the end of Love Alternative between the main character Takeru and a character that goes by the name Kazumi, which is the character that Ymir's character is heavily based off of. You can actually learn a lot about Ymir and Mikasa from this character. Now, in both of these conversations that takes place in these two different but very similar stories is that they pretty much talk about the same thing, just in a different way. And in one story you have aliens who are called Beta, and in the other you have Titans. Now, in Takeru and Kazumi's conversation, all of the questions that the fans of Love had gets answered, and a lot of the theories that the fans of Love had for what they thought was really going on in the story of Love gets confirmed. While on the other hand, for Attack on Titan, it's the opposite. Now, Isayama does give us some answers, but he does not give us the answers to the questions that we were looking for. And let's be honest, not only looking at Eren and Armin's conversation, but looking at the ending for Attack on Titan as a whole, you can definitely tell that Isayama is withholding information from us. He doesn't explain what happens to the parasite. I mean, I just figured that shit out. He doesn't explain why this bird comes out of nowhere to wrap Mikasa's scarf, which give us the idea that Eren is still somewhat alive and still connected to the powers of the Titans. He doesn't explain why the powers of the Titans did not disappear if all of what Mikasa did was the right thing to do, which just tells us that Mikasa and Eren made the wrong choices. Now, luckily, we have people like me and you who can come up with theories to give us a better understanding as to why Isayama gave us this mysterious ending, and it brought us to AoE. Now, if Isayama is and has been planning on doing AoE ever since he learned that he was getting an anime back in 2013 or a little bit more earlier, then it makes sense why he would just give us some insight and not really explain anything. Because he plans on explaining everything and also revealing the truth about the story of Attack on Titan in AoE like how Love did. And the reason why I believe that this is the case is because Isayama uses Armin from the AoE cast to co-sign, just like how he used Armin from the main story in the manga to co-sign on the fact that Eren is out of character. And I find it funny because to this day you still have people arguing about Eren not being out of character when you have the author himself co-signing on the fact that he is out of character by having Armin say that he would have never imagined imagine Eren being able to say something so pathetic. Which means that Eren is out of character, not because of him expressing his feelings or crying about Mikasa, but because of what he says and how he says it. But Isayama uses armin from the AU cats, which is canon because Isayama said that he wanted his AU cats to be connected to the main story. Now, of course, you can argue that the AU cats popping up in the manga and in the anime is just Isayama's way of paying homage. But if Isayama wanted his AU cats popping up in the manga and in the anime to be taken seriously, the only way that you'll be able to explain that is if the story of Attack on Titan have different timelines, which seems to be the case. But Isayama uses armin from the AU cast to co-sign on this mysterious ending by having him say that the mystery still remains, which is Isayama's way of telling us that he ended his story the way how he did on purpose and that it's more to the story. Now, we've been theorizing about what this mystery that still remains in the story of Attack on Titan is, but we can flat out get the answer from what inspired Isayama to create this mysterious ending, and that is Mode of Love alternative. Now, in Takeru and Kazumi's conversation, it gets explained to Takeru that he is no longer a causality conductor, which is a pipeline between worlds that allows causality information to be sent from one place to another. This would explain Takeru being able to be sit back in time, waking up in a brand new timeline from the memories of his previous life, and also would explain why he's crying but not knowing why. And this is basically causality information being sent from one Takeru that he once was to the Takeru that he is now. And knowing that this is the character that Eren's character is heavily based off of, the same thing has to be for Eren. So the reason why Eren is able to wake up in a brand new timeline from the memories of his previous life and being in the same death position that he was in his previous life, and also why he's crying but not knowing why, is because Eren is a causality conductor. And basically this is causality information being sent from one Eren that he once was to the Eren that he is now. Now, what makes Eren and Takeru different is that Takeru is able to remember his past life when he wakes up in these brand new timelines, while on the other hand Eren cannot. Now, Isayama never gave us an answer as to why Eren cannot remember his past life, and we pretty much chalked it up as some type of memory manipulation that was made by future Eren, which could be the case, but we can get the answer from Mode of Love alternative. It gets explained to Takeru that because of him no longer being a causality conductor, he can now return back home, but he has to return back home without his memories, which is a way to free Takeru from all of his pain and suffering and allow him to have a happy life without knowing that his friends died in a different timeline. So Isayama does this for Eren. So the reason why Eren cannot remember his past life when he wakes up in a brand new timeline is because causality information is being sent back in time from an Eren who is a causality conductor to an Eren who has yet to become a causality conductor. And with me saying that, we could come to the conclusion that what's making Eren a causality conductor is the powers of the Titans, but more specifically the power of the Founder Titan. Now, Isayama breaks down the idea of a causality conductor and how it works into two different things, the Founder Titan and the Titan Path, which is what I really think is the causality conductor, which, like I said, is a pipeline between worlds that allows causality information to be sent from one place to another. And us knowing how the Titan Path work, it definitely acts like a pipeline that allows information to be sent from one place to another. And fucking around with Attack on Titan, this could be anything such as Titans, Titan shifters, and also memories. And the power of the Founder Titan is what allows Eren to gain this causality information from the Titan Path, which is what we see when anime Eren gets granted access to the Titan Path and he's being flooded with a bunch of memories. Now, it gets explained to Takeru that the idea that he had for what he thought was going on is not actually the truth. See, Takeru thought that because of him being a causality conductor, which allowed him to connect to these different versions of himself and gain their memories, he thought that that was just that. But it gets explained to Takeru that these memories that he gains from these different versions of himself is actually his memories. Because at one point, he was each and every last one of these Takerus, and that the Takeru that he is now is just a mixture of all these different Takerus. Now, Takeru learning this and understanding this is what allowed him to fill in the gaps in his memory, so the same thing has to be for Eren. So when anime Eren gets granted access to the Titan Path and he's able to see Kid Mikasa with a black scarf turning right to look at Kid Eren like how she does in the manga, and being able to see AU Armin and Mikasa, and also being able to see Falco's Titan from manga Eren's perspective, these are definitely memories from different versions of Eren. And anime Eren being able to see this allows him to fill in the gaps in his memories. Now, it gets explained to Takeru on how he became a causality conductor and why he is no longer a causality conductor. And basically, it's because of Sumika. Sumika was a science project for the beta, and she was able to develop some of their psychic powers, like being able to read minds and in some shape or form manipulate time and space. And with her strong desire to want to see Takeru again working along with her powers, she was able to send him back in time. Now, for Attack on Titan, it's a little bit different because Eren is the reason why he could be sent back in time, because he made Grisha take the power and give it to him. And if Mika says anything like Sumika, that means that the powers of the Titans gave her some special power that works along with her desire to want to be with Eren, that allows her to in a way manipulate the Titan path into doing what she wants, which is sending Eren's memories back in time. And I'm not gonna lie, that shit sounds unbelievable, which is why we sometimes think that Eren is the one who's sending himself back in time, which could be the case. But if all what I said is what is really going on in the story of Attack on Titan, then at some point Isayama has to address this. And I believe that he is going to address it in Eren and Armin's conversation. And revealed to not only manga readers but also anime only is that the anime for Attack on Titan is indeed a continuation to the ending for Attack on Titan in the manga, which is probably going to be the biggest plot twist in Attack on Titan or anime history. But this is the end of the video. You ain't got like, you ain't got a comment, but I do appreciate it if you did sub and if you're new, and I am out.
What if the niggas make more? I knew my time was coming, had to wait for it.